Alrighty, hey again out there. We currently are on part 167, and it's finally time, as far as I'm concerned. We're gonna start building the chunk farm. So, I don't remember a couple of streams ago, dug out an entire chunk. That was funny and cool. Last stream, I traded for a bunch of redstone and promptly did nothing else, I believe. So that also happened. But main goal today, we start chipping away at some of the farms. So another thing I'd done too on stream and a little bit off of it as well was I've compiled a playlist of tutorials, or at least tutorials with like some of the key features of things that I want to build. And then I've got a list of farms that I want to build. So 8 in total. For like the bamboo farm, there's going to be like 2 or 3 of them even, depending on what I want to do there. But for the most part, there's going to be like one at every farm. So, all right, hopefully, would like to build a shulker farm, an iron farm, a bamboo farm, a sugarcane farm, a cactus farm, a wool farm, a honey bottle slash honeycomb like hybrid farm, and a moss farm. So 8 farms that can be ran fully automatically within a chunk, um, and would produce stuff without player interaction at all. So that seems to be about the best mix of stuff that I can get a hold of without again having to be AFK there. Like I would just go there to flick a lever and then leave, and that would be it. That's all I would have to do, because that would be the ideal situation. But yeah, we're currently on day 1694, and I do believe there's been an update on when that 19.3 is coming out, and mainly that it's coming out. And my right mouse button isn't working, but mainly it's coming out sometime next week, I believe, or not next week, but the week after, something like that. Like it's soon, it's not too much farther out now. Definitely by like December 15th, I want to say it was when it was for sure coming out. So, main thing for that is camels, chiseled bookshelves, bamboo wood. Again, very excited for bamboo wood because it means I can actually like farm the shit fully automatically, and it's gonna work out pretty good. But we need to kind of do some collecting here really quickly. So, um, I had a shulker box up there. I ended up leaving. I didn't want to leave it, but there should be a redstone box way up in the Parthenon. But first, we're gonna do our daily thing of just go turn on the mob switch and see how that goes. You know, um, I'm still heavily contemplating the Nether mob switch. It would be a cool novelty for sure, but to be perfectly honest, the only use case for it ever would be creating a new Wither Skeleton farm or upgrading the one that I currently have, so that way it would stop mob spawns. But at the same time, I could just not fucking die or not use carpet. I don't think I have to use carpet for the spawn packing. I think I can use any kind of non-spawnable block. So I could just use like stone slabs or non-birdable slabs. So we'll look into that. Just because I really don't want to make it, if I'm being honest here, but because it's kind of just whatever, and it's excessive, and I hated working on this one. This one is worth it, don't get me wrong, but this thing was extremely stressful for me to do. I mean, it took 5 hours, and it just, when I fucked it up the first time and I had to fix it, it was like defusing a fucking bomb. So I didn't want to. I don't want to do that again if I can help it, and I think I can. So yeah, but with this chunk farm, hopefully I can get it done by the time the update comes out. If it's a little late, no big deal. The main thing getting done, or rather that I'd want to get done, is the bamboo farm, because again, the kind of big thing that I want is a ton of fully automatic, easy to get a hold of bamboo. So that would be nice. Now, another thing too I'd like to mention is let me think, what's it called? Bone meal farms, right? Yeah, so not bone meal farms, but item sorting, right, and storage is the main thing. So we're gonna have to have a way for all these items to be stored. And what I'm thinking is all the way down here at the very bottom of the world, there will be a giant array of double chests, not too dissimilar to what we already have in our own base. That will be useful for housing a ton of shit. So, be able to store everything there, and it'll be pretty good. So I wanted to actually sort things out, and then I can always dump into shulkers later. Or actually, no, not later. I have to have shulker loaders there, especially for like the bamboo. So we'll see how that goes. Um, I've went ahead too, and I've actually found a new shulker, one-dimensional shulker design that I'm gonna see if I can try and adopt. But we'll see how that goes. Kind of iffy whether or not that'll actually be really viable. Which it will be viable. It's just there's not quite a tutorial for it, and I don't like doing world downloads for any of that stuff personally. So not to mention too, even if I did, I you know don't exactly have the Lightmatica like mod or anything like that to display that stuff in a different world, so it wouldn't do me any good anyways. But I shouldn't really need to. It's just as long as it runs automatically, it should be fine enough, and I could always kind of like bootleg one together for myself. So yeah. Well, we're just gonna pop on back down to the base real quick and go buy, not buy. We're gonna go get some shit to use. So the main stuff is clearing out a little bit of extra space for the aforementioned storage, and then again, hoppers are gonna be a big thing. So one thing to know is that entities are still fake and gay. To be perfectly honest, don't like using them when it comes to things like this if I can help it, because if I do, there's a very reasonable chance that it could end up getting broken in the near future. Would like to try and avoid that. So, um, oh, and that mean I got a half stack. I don't even know how I pulled that one out, but yeah. So when it comes to using like entities, for example, and okay, it was a little bit of lag. They don't shoot at me. Yeah, okay, see, our minecart's gone, but oh no, it's still there. Oh, perfect. But yeah, when it comes to using entities in certain other parts, we kind of don't want to use a bunch of minecart hoppers because that's going to add lag, and plus, it's, to be honest, not technically necessary. Um, I've yet to try it out, but I believe it was the case. In case you don't know, mud exists, which, wow, crazy, revolutionary, I know. But, god fucking damn it, hang on. Christ. Can't just say transfer money, not fucking say where. Oh, yeah, yep, okay, now she says where as I fucking load up the wrong thing. God fucking damn it, man. I'll be right back, sorry. Sick of this shit. Go ahead and actually make sure I pause it. There we go. Fucking stupid ass. Alright, sorry about that, I'm back. I had to deal with some shit, so. Of course she wants to fucking call me. Oh my fucking lord. God forbid I try and do anything with my day, but. Anyways, as I was fucking saying before I had to keep dealing with all this other stupid ass shit, main goal of this shit is to be able to store a ton of shit in a single chunk. Um, the sorting system's gonna take a lot of, it's gonna need a lot of hoppers. I don't want to use hopper minecarts at all if I can help it, which I know I can because again, entity lag is there. I know hopper lag also exists too, but we're gonna act like that doesn't exist because I really don't give a shit. But basically, the main idea is having a line of hoppers go from the top of the world down to the bottom, so that way it's like this one giant, like long tube of hoppers that all of the farm outputs should just feed straight into, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. There's actually a sheep farm that I found where the way it's set up, it actually doesn't require hopper minecarts, which is normally one of the ones where it would require hopper minecarts, but it just doesn't this time around. So hypothetically, they can either use water streams and then feed it into a hopper, which feeds it into the central hopper line. But I believe in every single farm that I have, I don't actually need I don't need hopper minecarts. So hopefully that ends up being the case. There's no guarantee that is or isn't going to be the case, but we'll see how it goes from there. So a couple of things I wanted to grab were slime blocks. Good couple of stacks of these because we're gonna need them for sticky pistons as well for the actual blocks themselves. Here we go. And then of course we can always come back and forth to get the rest of everything. I don't need honey blocks at the moment at least. To be honest, it's just kind of figuring out what level I want to build stuff at. So actually, we're gonna do something a little different here. We're gonna get some of our different types of terracotta. We should have some nice colors I can choose from. So we'll do white and yellow. Yeah, yellow should stand out pretty aggressively. We can do yellow and red. Yeah, we'll just do what we got. So there's gonna be certain like Y levels I'd like to have them at. I'd like to have the farms at, just so that way, you know, kind of get a rough idea of the height I'm gonna have to work with and things like that. It's only gonna apply for stuff that's inside of the chunk, so the stuff that's surface level and above. So we're talking our iron farms, our chunk loader, and our shulker shell farm. Those ones we won't need to worry about since we'll have a lot more open space to work with. But the things below the chunk, they have to be kind of limited on height because there's I want a good number of them tucked under like the chunk, and then like the very big things like the iron farm, the shulker shell farm need to go above ground to prevent like some weird shit with mob spawning. Oh, this guy's part of a what do you call it, a an ocean ruin. So that's why we still have a drowned here, even though the mob switch is active because he was part of an ocean ruin. Either that or he was here because he was already here from before. But now you see how we got multiple of them in here. Yeah, see how we got an ocean ruin just kind of laying around. I just hear a trident. That would be funny. Not that they could do anything to me, but still would be kind of nice to know about. It says garbage in it. It's crazy. It seems like there's nothing else. So, I want to try getting some more conduits too at some point, but it, might not ever happen to be honest. But hey, who knows? Oh yeah, I enabled hitboxes for the other shit, so that's right. Yeah, I enabled hitboxes for the minecart. I forgot what it's called for a second there. Sorry, but yeah, main thing about this place is just trying to make sure that we kind of have a rough idea where things are gonna go instead of just starting from the bottom and working up. That looks pretty cool from up here. Um, so what we'll just do is carve out like small like markers like in the corners that just show like, hey, whatever the fuck we want to do for like this height, goes here. Like I think the very bottom should probably be bamboo, realistically, because that's the first thing I need to have, just because it's just that important. So what I kind of want is the first one to be bamboo, and then we want to map out like maybe like 15 or 16 blocks of height that we have to work with before we got to work on the other thing, and then all that other shit. So I don't know if I'm explaining that too well, and I'm definitely not, but you know what, who fucking cares? So what we're gonna do is just kind of mine out a section of this deep slate stuff. So, and basically, we fill it in with terracotta whenever it's needed, just to mark out different like Y levels and things like that. So didn't take too long. That was just kind of a weird way to mine it, not really a very fast way, but to be honest, I don't really care. So we're gonna do it like this until I don't feel like it. But I don't think we have to do it the whole way up. But realistically, I'm gonna do it the whole way up just to kind of get it over with. I'm gonna have to at some other point anyway. It's part of the geode. But yeah, I'm almost done with my real estate class. I'm hoping today, actually, after I'm done streaming, I should try and get back on it. I've only got 3 units left, and then I can start studying for the final exam. I do the practice exam like 18,000 times, and then then I do the actual real estate exam sometime afterwards. So hopefully that goes well. If it does, I'm gonna be very happy because then that means I've actually got another like license I can add, and did an actual pretty good job with it. The job I've got now is fine, but it's just fine. I get 12 an hour for doing nothing, but I could be making significantly more if I ended up like actually being able to do some shit here with these people. So we'll kind of see how it goes, but looking forward to it. Nice. I put away my lava bucket, and I think I have a flint and steel still away in here. Yeah, perfect. I think I made this. Thought I ended up making that. But might need another toolbox and utility box soon, to be fair, because I've definitely am running this one out of it's on its last legs pretty much. There's nothing left out of it, to be honest. We'll have to do something about that at some point. But yeah, so we're just gonna take some time here to kind of mark what was going on with some terracotta. So basically, um, I don't know what the fuck is up with my right click, but it's been kind of weird. So I'm just not gonna question it. So yeah, I'm gonna need to switch these out. Okay, so for something like this is where we'd want like this one to stop, hopefully. So we would have our ceiling at this Y level where I've made that extra little indent, just so that way, the bamboo that's about as high as it grows anyway, and then we can start on the next bamboo farm, and then have it go up another 16 blocks or so. Um, Another thing as well is the corner with utility, as I've talked about before. I want the big fucking hopper pillar in order to make things a little bit easier on myself. So I believe any corner is fine, really. It doesn't really fucking matter, but we'll just pick this one for shits and giggles. I mean, right, why not? So basically, you'd have a giant line of hoppers going from top of the world all the way down into this corner. And realistically, it probably shouldn't go in this chunk at all, in fact, because then we're going to start limiting our other farms like on an entire like Y level. So change of plans slightly. Oh, also, I'd like to mention too, let me see if I can pull it up here. I saved the video for it. There is quite a nice guide by Logical Geek Boy explaining chunk loaders, how they work, and the big thing, how they actually like render certain things like redstone and entities. Like they render it differently depending on what you're dealing with. So in case anyone's interested, here is the link. But at a certain part of the actual video is where you'd actually want to look, and I believe it's about 5 minutes in. No, it's about 8 minutes in, or No, it is about 6 minutes in, yeah. So basically, he talks about what a chunk loader is and explains like how the chunk loader affects the surrounding chunks. So it's actually a 3 by 3 grid of chunks where like all the stuff that I'm trying to do would actually apply. So it be pretty good. So let's see. Yeah, okay, so basically, there's a 3 by 3 of chunks centered on the mob switch that, or aka the chunk loader. No, I said mob switch. I'm too used to the other one, but so 3 by 3 gridded chunks around the chunk loader that loads chunks as if you were there, pretty much. So it processes entities, redstone, everything that you could think of. It does as if you were just there, which is what we want. I'm only doing it for one chunk. So regardless of that, that means I could go ahead and kind of mine this all the way down to here. So it keeps it out and separate from the other like set of shit over here, but it shouldn't be too bad. We're actually gonna fly up to go do this. So I actually kind of want it tucked away a little bit, just because I know there's gonna be things like obsidian over here and some other like redstone bits, just to stop the flying machine. So we need to try and future proof it a smidge, just by making sure I have enough space. So I want the hopper line to be like pretty straight. I don't want it to be like super like wonky or nothing. So if I'm not mistaken, this is it right here. And then we just mine straight down, pretty much is all. I definitely don't have to mine both of these. I technically just have to mine the inner one, but I think it's just easier just to do this the whole way down. Because again, this also doubles like the hookup spot. If like on a farm higher up, we want to like run it into the main hopper line, then this would be like the point to do it. So we'd have it kind of like curve around like the side outside of the actual like chunk farm, and then just have it like feed into the main. So but it should be fine. We'll just kind of see how it goes. I have to redo a couple of parts though, it looks like, since I wasn't actually intending to be out this far, so that's alright though. Easy enough fix, it's no big deal. No, it's ugly, but shut the fuck up. I don't really care. It's not too big a deal. Might fix it later, but again, it's not exactly a very high priority at the moment. I just want to try and sit down and do a little bit while I can. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, really hoping all the shit works out with all the licensing I'm trying to get a hold of, because if I get a hold of enough of it, I should have like such a crazy fucking like wide broad of like shit that I can use for jobs. I should be able to get a lot of shit in the real estate market, like good salary positions, because I currently work as like an accountant at a roofing company, so I'm at least familiar with that part. Let's see what else. What else? I have my real estate license. I'm allowed to sell real estate for a commission, which you have to be certified to be able to do that. So that's pretty good. The insurance adjustment as well means that I actually know what the fuck like home insurance is, things of that nature, and also just like have general like knowledge and somewhat expertise in it, which is good too. And then another thing as well, I think the last thing was shoot, there was new thing that I learned about. Yeah, it was fuck, there was a new thing. It's like right on the tip of my tongue, man. I can't quite remember it at the moment. I threw the terracotta out, didn't I? I should definitely have some white terracotta on me. Whoops. Not mean to appraisement. Yeah, right. Okay. So I could become a general appraiser for an insurance appraiser and all that. So you can like appraise the value of a house based on certain criteria, which again is like another layer to all that shit too. So all those things go hand in hand enough to where you could still get them fairly easy if you put in the effort, but not a lot of people should have all those things like simultaneously. like I'm gonna have hopefully. So it should help me stand out quite a good bit and also make me look like I actually know what the fuck I'm doing, which I never know what I'm doing, but other people don't have to know that. So that'll be fine. But yeah, dug this out. That's all cool. Um, Forgot to actually grab. Well, not forgot. I just chose not to. Getting materials for the bamboo farm would always be nice. So the main thing, for example, that we're gonna want is, well, it's a couple of things really. Well, if the chunk loader loads the 3x3 the exact same, then I guess it won't be a big deal. Some of the things that could break in these are flying machines, for example. Prone to breakage, you know how that goes. And that's mainly because if you just so happen to unload the chunk at a weird time, then it'll be like in the middle of flying, the chunk gets unloaded and the redstone stops. So that's when it would get weird. And the main way you mitigate that or, stop that altogether is by having the whole flying machine in a single chunk. So start to finish, it would be in a single chunk. However, if we do that here, we are very severely limiting what we can do. Not severely, but we are definitely limiting what we could accomplish. So, I believe each flying machine is like 2 blocks wide. So 2 blocks wide end to end means you're going from a 16 by 16 to a 12 by 16, which, I'm gonna sit down and look at the loss. I think that's losing about 64 spaces. It looks like you're losing like an entire quarter of your fucking farm. So a 16 by 16 is 256. 16 times 12 is 192. 256 minus 192. 64. Yeah. So you're losing an entire quarter of your farmable land by putting the flying machine completely housed within the chunk. So it should be fine, but realistically, it's not something I would want to do. Another thing as well, I want to do some math on it really quickly, but if we were to do it that way, where we had like the less efficient one, where there was only 192 growing spaces and they each grew up. How tall does bamboo grow? Find out. Sorry if that's aggressively loud keyboard clacking, but it can grow between 12 and 16. It can grow between 12 and 16 blocks, and the top of a bamboo plant requires a light level of 9 or above to grow. Okay. That's something I did not quite know about, was the light level part. Damn. Well, that's going to be interesting to deal with. Should be doable, but at the same time, definitely a pain in the ass. So we're gonna assume lowest of the low here is gonna be 12 blocks. So we're gonna see how that goes. Well, hang on. If I did 16, shoot, man, that's gonna be kind of annoying because it seems like something you actually would want to have access to, like sunlight, because it would be easier. But that's just not gonna happen, regardless of whether it's down here or not. So that's gonna be a little um. It's still doable, but it's definitely a pain in the ass. Shit, man. The hard thing is figuring out how to incorporate light into that somehow in a way that's not gonna be annoying. So like take for example, like let's just remove these just so I don't pollute the light level. So like let's look at kind of how these torches like spread light, for example. So I believe if you look at client light, you can see like what kind of block light we're dealing with here. Skylight is going to be 15 because it's daylight. That's whatever. That's fine. It's unobstructed. Um, Torches give off 14. You move a block away, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. And then you start dipping to 8, and then 7 is the lowest it gets here. And this is where mobs could start, well, where they would be able to spawn at the old times, but they don't do that anymore. But mainly, the big thing to note is having shit in the corners means you'd have to have a lot more in the corners. You'd have to have a lot of it consistently. Like you'd have to like light this shit up massively for it to be good. So if I do this, for example, the block, yeah, okay, it could work. It could work, unironically, as long as I'd have to completely fucking replace these walls with like sea lanterns or glowstone. Like I'm talking the whole thing, pretty much head to toe, covered in fucking like glowstone, pretty much. The only parts that wouldn't be where is the band where the flying machine goes. So we'd have to see about that. Which this is a problem that's bigger than the actual like flying machine anyway. So that is gonna it's gonna be an issue. To put it nicely, that's gonna be kind of an interesting thing to try and work around. Could be doable, but to be honest, I'm kind of not up to do it right now. But might just end up being another very short stream. I do want to keep doing more, man, but I'm just kind of tired, honestly. Doing a lot of shit recently, shit ready, but taking a lot out of me. But we do at least have a game plan for it. It's a lot of glowstone. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're talking it's 4 stacks of glowstone per wall, assuming we go up to that height for each farm. So actually, it would be like 8 stacks per wall for building 2 bamboo farms. So we're talking like more than a shulker box worth of like glowstone or like light emitting blocks, which is definitely doable pretty easily. Don't get me wrong, but still means I have to go out and get it, and then we'd have to cover the whole thing in it as well because it barely will reach the center otherwise. And if we don't do it like the whole way around, it just will not reach the center. So, and hell, actually, might not even reach the center technically. Because remember, it has to be at like 9 for this to work. So when we're talking that like the 9 is here, then it's just gonna get kind of goofy, which don't really appreciate, unfortunately. The only other helpful-ish thing would be somehow being able to get sunlight all the way down, which would be pretty incredible if I could even pull it off. I don't know if it would even be something that I could pull off, but hypothetically, to an extent, I should be able to do it. So if we had all the ceilings of each farm be made out of like glass, and then the whole shulker farm pretty much was made out of glass and scaffold. No, because it'll have slabs up there regardless, so that's actually another issue in its own way. Um, yeah, the only good like actual future proof fucking idea would be to just kind of go ham with the like lighting, honestly. Because one of the big things is just trying to not take up like spawning space at all. So I think there might not be any way around that, honestly. Oh man, yeah, there might not be any way around it. So, oh no, hang on. So okay, again, it's either the lighting with the other shit, or we have like big pillars of that actually might be better. So every couple of blocks or whatever, we would have a like we would have like a torch on ground level because it's not a solid like block at all. So if anything landed on the block with the torch, it wouldn't actually land on the torch; it would just pass through it, and land on our mud, which our hoppers would pick up and all that. That's fine. That's cool. That would be ideal. And then what else we do from there is we go up about 2 to 3 blocks with no extra light because the flying machine would like try and push them, all that kind of shit. So we'd have to leave a little bit of clearance for the flying machine, and then from there on we have like a glowstone pillar that goes all the way up to the roof of the farm, which constantly spreads light. And then there should be kind of like an optimal like grid pattern that you should be able to make to make it so you're using up as little space as possible. So you're sacrificing a little bit of space, but in return, I don't have to use up nearly as much glowstone, and I'll know for a fact that it works. That seems to be like a good idea. Um, Maybe it's not something I want to do right now though, but we'll we'll maybe worry about this another day. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of already tired. It's been a long couple of days for me, so I'm gonna head back to my base and honestly just call it there. I might probably come back later today. Um, we'll see about it though. There's a pretty solid chance that I will. don't hold your breath on it, but again, good chance I'll probably be back. But at least do have a plan for the bamboo farm. The sugarcane farm should be much simpler since it doesn't rely on light at all, and if it does, they're much smaller, and you have to have like spots for water anyway, so you should be able to like consolidate them to an extent. If not, just embed them in the ceiling, and then they'll reach a lot better than the other ones would. So it's not like it's the end of the world there. Um, and then other things too, being the cactus farm. That one, the one I've already built, works pretty good, and it's got good consistent lighting. That's pretty easy. It just goes on the walls of it, so that one's plenty doable. The wool. Okay, so like the iron and shulker farms don't rely on light at all when it comes to any of that stuff. The sheep don't either. They just rely on grass, and I don't think grass needs like sunlight to spread. It's also good. So yeah, these are pretty much the only ones that rely on light to be able to grow and whatnot. So once these ones are kind of taken care of, then it should get a lot easier to deal with. But as short as that is, and as short as it's been, honestly, that's gonna have to do it for right now. I'm just getting very tired and kind of want to go take a nap for a few hours. So day 1696, and we got a game plan at least. We're gonna actually keep working on this shit next time, hopefully, because I really want to sit down over the weekend here in the next couple of days and just start doing this shit. But it's kind of hard for me getting a lot of motivation right now. But that's all right. We at least got a plan. So sorry it was so short. Try again another day, maybe later today.